Rain in the Face was a Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux chief and warrior who was a significant figure in the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876, where Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer's 7th Cavalry Regiment was decisively defeated. Rain in the Face was renowned for his courage and power in combat. It was also believed that he held a personal grudge against Custer, whom he thought had slain his brother and sister in an earlier engagement. Based on some narratives, Rain in the Face was one of the warriors who assaulted Custer's unit during the Battle of Little Bighorn, and he might have even delivered the fatal strike that ended Custer's life. Nonetheless, this assertion is contested by historians, and the precise details of Custer's demise are still uncertain. Rain in the Face eventually surrendered to U.S. forces and served a period of imprisonment. Following his release, he became a proponent for Native American rights and a well-known personality in Wild West shows, where he would narrate his battlefield stories. But before we start, remember to like and subscribe to our channel to help our community grow. If you wish to hear a story, I will tell you a true one about myself. I was a dangerous man before I needed to use crutches. My heart is good these days, but it was wicked when I was a warrior and a hunter. The women were fond of me, but the men were frightened of me. I preferred fighting to eating. The soldiers feared me, and the Rees and Crows would check their hair each morning to confirm it remained attached when I was nearby. I was a formidable presence, and my name was spoken with fear. Harry spoke up, aware that Indians enjoy boasting. "We know you were a tough man, Rain," Harry said, "but we wish to hear about when Tom Custer defeated you. If you were so courageous, how did a small man like Tom Custer manage to overcome you?" This question unsettled Rain, and he scowled. He was a large man, standing 5 feet 9 inches tall and weighing 195 pounds, whereas Captain Tom Custer was more slight. After much consideration, Rain recounted his perspective, and surprisingly, he continued and told his version of the Custer massacre. He spoke with great expression and feeling, remembering the specifics of that decisive day. For many years, Army officers and government agents attempted to get Rain to discuss the fight, but he refused to speak. They tried every approach, being friendly, offering assurances, and even intimidating him, but nothing succeeded. Rain is renowned for killing Custer, and the poet Longfellow even composed verse about him. Therefore, it was a shock when Rain finally shared his story. I am recording it exactly as McLaughlin translated it. Rain said, 2 years prior to the great battle, Gall and Sitting Bull had their camp at Standing Rock. All the Indians there were opposed to the government. They were Hunkpapa Sioux, and they feared nothing. The Yanktonais were friendly Indians who lingered around the agency, attempting to obtain food and provisions. We had a wonderful time in the hostile camp, dancing, racing, shooting, and playing games. We had an abundance of buffalo and deer to eat, and many ponies. I was well liked by the girls, and they would provoke me to make me mad. When I became angry, I desired to fight. One evening, a girl challenged me to go to Fort Lincoln and kill a white man. I told her it was too risky, with soldiers constantly on watch and re-scouts close by. But she said, "A brave man has no fear. If you are a coward, do not go. I will ask another who is not afraid, someone who has danced in the Sundance." That was a challenge I could not refuse. The other girls laughed, but the young men did not. They were afraid of me, and I would have slain them for laughing. I went to my lodge, painted my face black, and took my gun, bow, and pony. I slipped out of camp under the darkness and went to Fort Lincoln, 45 miles north. I waited for 2 days, seeking an opportunity to shoot a soldier. I had opportunities to kill a Ree-woman or a woodcutter, but I wanted to bring a soldier's brass buttons back to the girl who had mocked me. I did, and she sewed them onto her shawl. One morning, I saw the storekeeper and a horse doctor going to a spring. Long Yellow Hair and his men were riding back, approximately 100 yards away. I rushed up, shot the storekeeper, and struck the horse doctor with my war club. Then I shot them full of arrows and cut off some buttons. Long Yellow Hair heard the shot and charged back. I did not have time to scalp the men I had killed. I jumped on my pony and yelled at them to catch me. They pursued me to the Cannonball River. The following winter, I went to the agency store at Standing Rock. I did not receive any rations because I had not signed the peace treaty. The storekeeper, One Arm, was there. I was not afraid of him or the 30 soldiers with little hair. He crept up behind me, and they all piled onto me. They threw me in a wagon and held me down until they reached the guardroom at Lincoln. I was treated like a woman, not a chief. They put me in a room, chained me, and gave me only a single blanket. The snow blew through the cracks and onto me all winter. It was freezing. Once Little Hair let me out, and the soldiers told me to run. I knew they wanted to shoot me in the back. I told Little Hair that I would escape and cut his heart out and eat it. I was chained to a white man, and one night we escaped. They fired at us, but we ran and hid on the bank of the Heart River. The white man cut the chains with a knife, but they captured him the next day. I got away, but I knew they would be searching for me. I rejoined Sitting Bull and Gall, but they were afraid to come get me. I sent Little Hair a picture of a bloody heart on buffalo skin, so he knew I had not forgotten my vow. The next time I saw him, I took his heart. That is all I will say. We knew most of this was accurate, aligning with the government's account of the sutler and Surgeon Hunsinger's death, but we wanted to hear about Tom Custer's heart. McFadden showed Rain a sketch of Custer's last charge and asked if it resembled the fight. Rain studied it, then burst out laughing. "No, this picture is false. Soldiers did not fight us with swords, but with guns and revolvers. They fought on foot, with every fourth soldier holding the horses. We tie ourselves to our ponies and fight in a circle. We strip naked and paint ourselves and our ponies." This picture shows us with bows and arrows, but we were better equipped. Their guns only fired once, with shells stuck inside. I know. I saw dozens of guns on the battlefield with shells still in them. The soldiers' guns did not function correctly. When we saw their guns would not work, we used our war clubs to knock them down. It was simple, like killing sheep. Some pleaded for mercy, but we showed none. This picture is a lie, like all white men's pictures of Indians. Let me show you how it truly appeared. Rain turned the paper over and drew a large, sideways S shape with a pencil. This is the Little Bighorn River. Our lodges were along the banks, shaped like a bent bow. "How many lodges did you have?" Harry asked. "Many, many times 10. We were as numerous as blades of grass. There were approximately 4,000 to 6,000 Indians, so at least 1,000 lodges. Sitting Bull performed powerful medicine on a hill. He brought it back in a bag on a coop stick and delivered a great speech. He said the Great Spirit had told him the soldiers were coming, but we would vanquish them. His speech made us joyful. The next day, our runners informed us the soldiers were approaching. Sitting Bull had the women set up empty lodges to deceive the scouts. The brush and bend in the river concealed our real lodges. Then Sitting Bull left to make more medicine and did not return until the fight was finished. He was a great chief, but he did not fight that day. Gall was the head chief. Crazy Horse led the Cheyennes. Goose led the Bannocks. I was not a head chief, but I led a band of fierce Hunkpapas. We knew the soldiers' horses were exhausted, and they were tricked by the empty lodges. They believed we were just a small band. We were prepared for them, and we fought courageously. We knew they had erred when they divided their forces. Gall took most of the Indians up the river to intercept them. When we saw the scouts remain behind with long yellow hair, we were pleased. We let them come over the bluffs, and some of our young men cut off their retreat. Then we revealed our line, and the soldiers charged. They fell back under our fire, and our young men behind them opened fire. We saw some officers talking and pointing, but they all looked similar. I did not see Long Yellow Hair then or later. We heard the Rees singing their death song. They knew we had them surrounded. They dismounted, and every fourth man held the other's ponies. We closed in around them, rushing like a wave upon the sand. We shot the pony holders and stampeded the ponies by waving our blankets. Our women caught them, for they were tired. I had sung the war song, smelled the gun smoke. My heart was wicked. I was as one without a mind. I rushed in, seized their flag, and my pony fell dead. I cut the thong, jumped up, and struck the flagman with my war club. I ran back to our line with the flag. I was proud. I had performed a brave deed. Our warriors cheered, and we kept fighting. The soldiers' blood and brains splashed on my face, feeling hot and tasting bitter. I was enraged, so I got a new pony and charged back, shooting, cutting, and slashing. This pony was shot too, so I got another. That is when I saw Little Hare, and I remembered my vow. I was frenzied, fearing nothing, knowing my white weasel tail charm would protect me. I do not know how many I killed trying to reach him. He recognized me, and I laughed and yelled at him. I saw his lips move, but the noise was too loud to hear his voice. He was afraid. When I got close enough, I shot him with my revolver. My gun was gone. I do not know where. I jumped off my pony, cut out his heart, bit a piece off, and spit it in his face. Then I rode off, shaking it. I was satisfied and tired of fighting, so I did not scalp him. I had fulfilled my vow, and that was all that mattered. I did not return to the battlefield after that. The women came later and killed the wounded, taking their possessions and cutting off their boots for leather. They even cut off fingers to get rings more quickly. They searched for Long Yellow Hare's scalp, but could not find him, as he wore no uniform and had cut his hair. That night we celebrated with a feast and scalp dance. Sitting Bull spoke, saying, "I told you my medicine would work. It made you brave." He took credit for winning the fight, but Gall disputed this, saying, "We did the fighting. You only made medicine." This caused tension between them. We could have defeated the others on the hill, but Gall and Sitting Bull's argument prevented us. Both wanted to be leader, and some Indians sided with each. I did not care. I led my own group and obeyed neither. I was tired of fighting and wanted to dance. We heard more soldiers were coming with big guns, so we moved north. They followed us until we crossed the border. I stayed there until Sitting Bull returned, and I came back with him. I was glad to be home. That is my story. I have never told it to white men before. I am glad I told you. When Rain finished speaking, I asked him, "If you did not kill Long Yellow Hare, who did?" He replied, "I do not know. No one knows. It was like fighting in the dark." Mac asked, "Why was Long Yellow Hare not scalped like the others?" Rain said, "No one is too brave to be scalped." The women wondered why they could not find him. He must have been concealed under other bodies. Mac inquired about Curly, the Crow Scout, who claimed to have escaped. Rain said, "Curly is a liar. He was not in the fight. His pony broke down, and he ran away like a coward." Rain is now about 60 years old and is the only chief still alive to tell the story of the Custer fight. He can write his name in English, but does not understand its significance. His English vocabulary is limited, but he can comprehend most of what is said. Like other Indians, he is grateful for future favors, not past ones. He is brave, but lacks morals. However, he keeps his promises, but it takes patience to get him to make one. Even at 60, he is still strong and physically imposing, resembling the ideal Indian of Fenimore Cooper's novels. Rain's knowledge of English is confined to about 30 words, but he cannot say them so anyone can understand him, though he can understand almost anything said in English. His redeeming feature lies in the fact that you can depend upon any promise he makes, but it takes a world of patience to get him to promise anything. I hope this first-hand account gives you a new perspective on the Battle of Little Bighorn in the Great Sioux War of 1876. Stay tuned for more videos like this. I hope to bring you more first-hand accounts of different battles, so have a great day, and I will see you next time.